if there's some noise, but I just wanted to film this car video. Quick follow-up video about genealogy. You know, my last video was on tracing lineage and genealogy as a Black American, as a descendant of American chattel slavery, because I think that it's important for us to start following our lineage through the United States, because we are, you know, American citizens and we've been here for so long now that I think that it's important for us to start getting to know our lineage and our history more. So I made a post actually about it, and if you guys haven't seen that video, of course it'll be linked in the description box. It'll also be under the eye in the right hand corner. It's just the most recent one on tracing lineage and genealogy through the United States and some different methods, and how a lot of the times the excuse is made against us being our own ethnicity. The excuse is normally made like, well, how will we know? You know, like, we're all Black and we're all mixed up. How will we know who's a Black American? It's like the easiest way to sort of know is to trace our lineage, you know, through this country, and then we'll know. And it can be done because as descendants of American chattel slavery, there's property deeds and all types of things, if nothing else. But I covered that in the video. So I made a post about it on Instagram. Of course, now it's raining. You guys can probably hear that. Sorry. I made a post about it on Instagram, and this girl left a comment right underneath your comment. Somebody left a stupid ass fucking comment. I tried to delete their comment, and of course Instagram like glitched and it deleted yours. So if you see this and you want to like leave a comment here on YouTube, or if you want to leave another comment on Instagram, like and I can't exactly remember your name, but like, please feel free to leave a comment. But I made a post about my other video on Instagram, and this girl left a comment that was sort of like, how did I feel about like DNA testing and like Ancestry? I feel like maybe we've talked about this during Beast Bait, but I've never done a dedicated video about like the DNA testing and the Ancestry.com stuff. And the girl that left the comment, she specifically asked, how did I feel about the predatory sort of nature of Ancestry.com and all of these sort of sites that are preying on, especially when it comes to like Black Americans, this idea of, you know, we need to find where we come from and we need to find our roots, and just like the sort of predatory nature of it. She asked me what was my thoughts about it, and I said I would do a follow-up video sort of on that aspect of the tracing lineage and genealogy as well. So I absolutely agree with her that a lot of it is very predatory in nature. I want to start off by saying that, like, no shade on anybody that wants to like do DNA testing or whatever, but I personally feel like it's absolutely predatory, and it preys on, again, the social hierarchy which already exists, which we've been talking about a lot on this channel, that says that Black Americans are lost, that we're lost, we don't have an ethnicity, we don't have a culture, we don't have a history, that we're not anybody, and that we need to do these DNA tests and find out, quote unquote, where we're from in Africa for us to become somebody, which I find to be offensive. I find that to be a really offensive line of thinking. Again, like, no shade to the people that feel that way, but like, that's just how I feel. I feel like we are who we are, obviously, that we are our own ethnicity, we are our own cultural group, we have our own legacy, our own history, our own heritage, and our own culture here in this country, especially considering how long we've been here now, that we can trace our American lineage back through centuries. And so I kind of feel like a lot of the DNA testing and stuff rests on this false notion that we don't have a history, that we don't have an ethnicity, and that we don't have a heritage already on our own. The whole we are lost and we need to find our quote-unquote roots. For people that are just curious or just want to know, or I know that there are people that are interested in like genes and DNA for like health reasons and stuff of that nature, like, again, like, it's personal, like, that's your business, but I feel like it's more important for us to know our legacy here in the United States at this point, especially as again, like, our own ethnicity, like our own thing. We need to start focusing more on who we are here. And I don't care for how a lot of these DNA testing preys on people that have low self-esteem as Black Americans specifically, and feel like they're not anybody, or feel like they're just regular Black, feel like they don't have a history or they don't have a culture, you know, feel like they're at the bottom of the totem pole. There's a social hierarchy and we're at the bottom. Everybody got their foot on their necks, like they're so special and they have all this culture and they have all this, you know, pride, and we're supposed to not have that. You know, we're supposed to be the redheaded stepchild. Oh, you know, do your DNA testing and find out who you are. Like, no, I know who I am. I know who I am. I don't even need no tagline telling me I need a DNA test to find out who I am. I know who I am. I'm a Black American. I'm a descendant of American chattel slavery. That is who I am. I don't have any shame in that. We've discussed that in other videos in the BA Gang playlist, that a lot of this stuff rests on shame, that we're supposed to feel shame and be ashamed of who and what we are. And I don't feel that. I feel like if there is any shame in it, it ain't my shame. I didn't do anything wrong. And I also just feel like, you know, I'm on the road right now doing the Black American Season 2 road trip tour. Woo! And even just like, I've been visiting a lot of Black American history museums. Did you guys know there are 88 Black American history museums in the United States of America? There's 88 of them. So traveling around, seeing different museums, seeing different just places, meeting different people, talking to different people, learning all about our history and our lineage and our legacy here. It's absurd to ask me to feel shame about who I am. To me, like, and we've done so much here. We've done so much here, you guys. Like, we literally built this country from the ground up, literally, figuratively. We literally built buildings. We literally built the economy. We literally built the mainstream popular culture, the music, you know, the everything. We are motherfucking America. Like, we are. And so I don't need to do a DNA test to like find out who I am. Find out who you are. I don't need it. And I do think it's predatory, and it preys on people's self-esteem, and it preys on people feeling like they don't know who or what they are, and so they need to pay money to take this test to figure out who they are. And it's like, when you wake up, if you take this test, when you wake up tomorrow, are you going to be a different person? Are you going to have a different face when you look in the mirror? Are you going to you're going to be the same exact person? And I also feel like, totally like a little bit unrelated, but I also feel like the Ancestry and the DNA companies, they don't let it be known that a lot of people, they start doing these DNA tests and finding out shit that they did not want to know. People finding out that they fathers not they fathers, they mothers not they mothers, they was adopted, you know, finding out the milkman's baby, finding out, you know, the baby of the crackhead down the street and they got adopted by their parents, finding out they sister not they sister, you know, finding out these like family secrets. And people's lives are getting, like, a lot of people's lives are getting turned upside down and blown apart. I've read quite a few very interesting articles about this very thing, and the DNA testing companies don't take any responsibility for that. So it's like, you got to be careful when you start messing around with that stuff. And I also feel like, now this is just me, my conspiracy theories, I'm very wary of giving my DNA to private companies. Sorry, I've seen the 6th Day. Like, I don't want to say they out here cloning people, but they out here cloning people, you know, like I don't feel comfortable about signing over my biological property to a company, to a corporation, to a privately held corporation. And especially with, like, there's just so much, like, in the facial recognition software, and, you know, the phone's gonna store your face and store your fingerprint, store your this and your that, and the corporations have your biological property, your DNA, and you signed it over, you paid the money, you swabbed, or you did whatever, you sent it in. So you signed it over, you signed away your rights to your own biological property, which maybe because I'm a descendant of American chattel slavery, something about that just rubs me the wrong way. I alone am in charge of my biological property. So I wouldn't do it just because I'm paranoid about that type of thing. When the singularity occurs and it's the rise of the machines, like, I don't need them being able to, like, so easily, like, they're going to be able to identify all of us anyway, but I don't need them to be able to so easily identify me because I just signed over my DNA and my fingerprints and my this and my that. So I also feel like that aspect of it makes me uncomfortable. The fact that people start digging around and they blow their whole lives apart, and then nobody, you know, has to take responsibility for that in terms of these, like, companies themselves. And I also do think that they're very, very predatory, preying on the self-esteem of certain ethnic groups, and Black Americans in particular here in the United States, not having roots, not having a history, not having a legacy, not having a home, when this is our home. but we have roots here, and we have a legacy here, and we have a culture here, and we have a history here, and we have an ethnicity here, and I think we need to focus more on, again, tracing our own lineage and our own genealogy through this fucking nation where we've been here for so long, and where you can trace, like I talked about in that video, and learn our history about what we did here, instead of sort of jumping back, 500 years through time to take a DNA test to be like, oh, now I know who I am. I feel like it's a little bit ridiculous. It's a little strange to me personally. It's a little bit weird. It's a little weird. And again, it just sort of rests again on the notion that we're not nobody already, and we're not shit, and we need to do something to become somebody or to become the shit. Like, nah, you already the shit. You don't have to do any of that. Like, you're already the shit. Like, on Black Americans, you don't have nothing to be ashamed of. So, follow-up video. Thank you for that request, because it was very good, very great topic, pertinent, related. Again, please check out the previous video on tracing lineage and genealogy. Great links in the description box. I will also include some links in the description box of this video as well to some of the stuff that I've been reading about the DNA testing and then this, that, and the third. But that's just how I feel about that. I would never do one. I don't feel like it's necessary. Again, I don't need it to know who I am. There's also been a lot of backlash against a lot of these companies as well, because people feel like that they're presenting a glorified, romanticized view of history, especially American history. I was also reading an article about that recently, which I will try to find and link in the description box. Like, they put in out Ancestry commercials with like interracial couples. Like, no, that's not a couple. That is a slave master and a slave. Like, that's not a couple running away to freedom. That's not what that is. Why are we romanticizing rape? Like, like things of that nature. Like, figure out, like, no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. Stop trying to also present this romanticized version of history to get people to like buy your DNA tests, figure out who you are. Like, that's not cool either. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Food for thought as always. Tons of links in the description box. See you guys next time. Peace.